Hey guys, my name is Timeo, and welcome to another episode of Mind Games. This is a video series where I explain what I do right and wrong in different combat situations in Battlefield, so that hopefully you can either learn from my mistakes, pick up on some of the stuff that I do finally do right, and maybe apply that to your gameplay so that you can improve your skills on the battlefield. And so to start things off, I'm going to be playing on Zavad using the MG4 light machine gun, and the first thing that I notice as I'm moseying on over towards the B capture point is that a few enemies are on the minimap and they're heading my direction. Now, instead of charging in like a madman, which I do way too often, it's a fault that I'm trying to correct, I realize that the rock formation in front of me will be a prime ambush and head glitch spot. Now, as soon as they crest the hilltop, I'm going to be able to see their entire body. They're going to be really exposed. While I'm behind the rocks, I have this nice head glitch, and they're only going to be able to see my upper chest, maybe my upper chest and my head. I'm going to have a clear advantage. I then realize that I'm a little bit too far behind enemy lines. I decide to fall back to the tank, and this results in a prime example of why pre-firing is amazing in Battlefield. I'm using the MG4. It has a high RPM, it has a lot of rounds in its magazine. You shouldn't really be scared of wasting a few rounds here and there, and because I noticed directly on the minimap that the enemy is about to round the corner, this is the guy that was shooting at me earlier. I know he wants blood, he wants me dead, and so instead of waiting to see his character model where it basically turns into a fair fight, or I'm going to be at a disadvantage because he already did a few damage to me, I pre-fire. I take advantage of that high magazine size. I take advantage of that high RPM. This is honestly one of the best things about using a light machine gun, and I'm able to come out of that firefight simply because of pre-firing. I then work my way on over to the B capture point, taking out a few enemies along the way, and then when I actually get there and I'm camping in the building to try and capture the points, I'm listening for enemy footsteps. I cause a little bit of a ruckus, so I have a suspicion that a couple are still going to be spawning on this point, trying to get some revenge, and then a couple seconds later, lo and behold, I hear those elusive footsteps. I check my minimap to make sure that it's not a teammate. It's not, I'm good in that department, and then I listen for him to figure out where he's heading. With my good headset, I pretty much know that he's about to head into my staircase. I get my iron sights up, my red dot sight up, I'm about to take him out, and then as he enters the room, he just runs by and I miss all of my shots. It was pretty embarrassing. Now this is where things get cool. This is my favorite part about this entire clip, is that I have a feeling that he's gonna try and retaliate. I have a feeling that he's like, oh man, someone just shot at me, let's go see what it is. And I run away and put C4 on the staircase. I could have sat there and let him round the corner again. It would have been a fair firefight. I may have had a slight advantage because I'm sitting waiting for him. But instead of that, I go for more of the guaranteed kill. Let his curiosity be the best of him. He runs up the stairs, and as soon as he does, he turns into a fireball. Granted, this did rely on a lot of luck. It was completely dependent on what the enemy did. If they were a coward and just ran away, well then of course this trap would have been completely useless. But I banked on the idea that most people in Battlefield are in it for the kills. They want to get as many kills as they possibly can because that's what first-person shooters are all about. And if someone sees you on the minimap or you shoot at them, they're likely to retaliate. And so I banked on that information. At the end of the day, yes, there was a lot of luck involved, but man, was it glorious to get that kill and that fireball. The next clip, we're moving on over to Operation Firestorm, and it begins with me making a huge mistake. I notice a teammate dies directly in front of me. I can pretty much see the enemy. I can see the firefight happen. I realize that he just got taken out by someone that is very, very close. And instead of taking out said enemy, looking for him, and then going for the revive, I automatically bring out my defibrillators and try to get the res off. This is a bad way at trying to bring up your teammates. If the enemy was even somewhat observant to his surroundings and just rounded the corner at this prime opportunity, I would have been dead. I had my pants down, he would have been able to get a free kill, and then both of us would have been dead. It would have been a lose-lose, and that right there is something that you really want to avoid when you are using the defibs. We then get another perfect example of why investing in a good pair of headsets is a very good idea in a first-person shooter. As soon as I take out this guy in front of me, I hear off to my left someone screaming out in English, "They took out one of our guys." I also know, as soon as I entered the round, that I was playing as the Russian faction. I checked my minimap, noticed that there isn't a blueberry or a blue triangle, so I know there isn't a teammate off to my left, and with this simple process of elimination, I know that there's an enemy nearby. Lo and behold, as soon as I make my way around the truck, I realize that there was a recon there, and I'm able to easily dispatch of him. The only reason why I was able to get the drop-off on this guy was because of the audio. If I wasn't paying attention to the audio around me, he probably would have been able to get the flank off on me as I made my way back into the action. Granted, it's not going to be as easy when the upcoming patch goes live. DICE is eliminating all of the call-outs that you have no control over, so it won't be as ridiculous as it is right now. There are times where I feel like I am cheating. Like, there are moments where I will take out one player, hear another one off to my left, take him out like in today's video, and then hear another one off to my right, and just continue to do that. I don't see anyone on the minimap, there's no information there, but because of those audio cues, I literally have wall hacks. I know exactly where everyone is, and it's a little bit too good right now. So when the upcoming patch goes live, that's no longer going to be the case. There are still going to be callouts, you can still take advantage of it, but it will have to be triggered by the soldier themselves by doing particular actions. The last clip that I have for you guys today, I'm moving on over to some Siege of Shanghai Rush. I'm going to be playing on defense, and the first thing that I notice is that the enemy has armed the objective. I also noticed that there aren't a lot of teammates around said objective, and I infer from this knowledge that the enemy probably has a pretty good foothold, and they're all over this mall area. Now, instead of charging in like a madman and just dying immediately, playing the objective 100%, I decided to loop around towards the elevators and work my way in. It proves somewhat successful. I take out a few people that are on the escalators, proving my point that charging in would have been futile. I would have died immediately. I was then able to take out a few more around the MCOM. Sadly, I wasn't able to disarm the objective, but overall, I felt like this little escapade was a victory in my book. We then make our way over to the second MCOM. It is armed, and this is where I want to point out that yes, I see a teammate going for the disarm, but I also jump in and start to disarm as well. If he dies for whatever random reason, he gets sniped, grenade falls at his feet, he just explodes out of nowhere, then I'm there to grab the assists. I realize that the MCOM is about to explode. It's nearing its final few seconds, and if for whatever reason he dies and I'm not there with the assist holding down trying to disarm, then we would have moved on to the last final bases and we may have just completely lost the round at that point. In the end, it didn't matter. He wasn't taken out, but it's always a good idea to cover your ass. It's always good to have a failsafe, and in this circumstance, while it wouldn't have mattered, in another one, it could have been the difference between my team winning and losing. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's episode of Mind Games. Hopefully, you could have learned a few things here and there. I hope this was at least somewhat useful. But until tomorrow, have a good one, and take it easy.